Welcome back to the Veteran Teacher Files, the podcast where the copier jams exactly when you're running late and where educational trauma somehow becomes educational content. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady, and today we're talking about one of the most powerful people on any campus. Not the teachers, not the principal, not the IT guy who magically disappears every time you lose Wi Fi. No. This episode is all about the secretaries. And if you're a brand new teacher listening to this thinking, oh yeah, I'll just email the principal, that's cute. That's really cute. Because every veteran teacher knows the principal might be sitting in the big office, but the secretary is the one holding the keys. Recently, I was talking to a friend of mine. She just finished her student teaching. She just got her first job as a real teacher. And she's excited, she's hopeful, and she still believes that she's going to get responses to emails in May. Now, she's been trying to contact her principal, and she's trying to get a tour of the campus, possibly get her keys before boot camp. And when she told me this, I just looked at her like, "Aw, you're so cute." I mean, I laughed, not because I'm cruel, well, maybe just a little bit cruel, but because I already knew where the story was going. I already know without her telling me that her principal hasn't gotten back to her. And this is what I told her. You cannot be chasing down a principal in May. You've got to talk to the secretary. The secretary is not a whole lot, or no, a lot less busier, but she'll put you in contact with the right people. May's a really busy month. Wrapping up a school year, starting off a school year, there's just times of the year where you can't bother these people. But yeah, the principal's not going to get back to you. Get a hold of the secretary. She'll put you in touch with somebody. And then I explained to her a phrase my husband explained to me. See, a few years ago, he worked at a prison, and he told me there's this phrase that sometimes gets used about the real person in power. They call that person the person who holds the keys to the car, or the person holding the keys. And it means they may not be officially the boss, but they're absolutely the ones calling the shots. And the second he explained it, I thought, oh yeah, that's exactly what school secretaries do. They hold the keys. They hold the keys to the school. They hold the keys to the car. Because they know everything. They know where the paperwork is. They know who can help you. They know which parent is about to storm into the office. They know when the principal's busy and when the principal's like really busy. They know which teacher forgot to submit attendance again. And they know who's secretly falling apart 2 weeks into the school year. They are the people holding the keys. So I told my friend, look, at the beginning of the school year, there's going to be chaos. The principal's going to be busy. The secretaries are going to be busy. But if you reach out politely, I'm sure that they'll get you in contact with the right people. So I try to give her some additional veteran advice. Then I told her at the beginning of the school year, the chaos is going to continue. And a couple of weeks into the school year, you're going to want to bring your secretary a snack or a thank you card or a gift card or some sort of peace offering, because stuff's going to happen and the secretary is going to save your life. Like, not in a dramatic movie way, but in a, hey, I accidentally left my keys in my classroom and I've locked myself out while carrying a box full of dry erase markers, or yeah, I left my keys at home again. Just those kinds of things. Or I don't know, you're going to have questions. The paper jams, the copier is going to jam. You're going to have questions about the bathrooms. You're going to have questions about lineup. You're going to have questions about dismissal, attendance, everything. And guess what? The secretaries are the ones who know everything. I once worked with a secretary who knew the name of every student, every parent, every sibling, every pickup person, every emergency contact. I'm not kidding. She was that emergency file rolling thing that you push out when there's a fire drill. She was that walking person. And I'm convinced that if you asked her who signed out so and so on March 13th of 2018, she probably remembers who that person was and what shoes they were wearing. Like, she was incredible. Meanwhile, I forget kids' names very easily, and I'm standing in hallways like, oh, hey, honey. Hey, buddy. Hey, scholar. because I can't remember the name. I mean, I can't remember if your name's Jaden, Braden, Caden, Aiden. So yeah, but that secretary, she knew everybody. And then there's this other secretary I worked with, and she was really fashionable. I mean, she worked it. She was really pretty. And I have a feeling that she single handedly influenced every female on that staff, or at least half of us, to dress like we were filming Keeping Up with the Classroom Management. Because this lady wore pencil skirts and high heels just about every day. Her hair was perfect, her makeup was flawless, and she looked like she was just walking through campus like she knew that Kris Jenner was waiting for her in the parking lot. She had a very like Kim Kardashian energy. And suddenly a few of us were trying to keep up. I'm one of them. So yeah, here I am teaching class, sweating through fire drills in my pencil skirts and high heels. Yeah. By the end of the day, I looked like a busted can of biscuits wrapped in polyester. But yeah, speaking of power moves, I remember this other instance that happened that still kind of makes me chuckle and laugh. This teacher came into the office one time and he was asking for his card stock. And the secretary smiled really politely and she was like, "Oh, no, not yet. I haven't come in yet, but I'll let you know when it does." And the moment he was out of earshot, she was like, "He still has a few more days to go." I lost it. She didn't know I was listening, but yeah, I collapsed. Because here's what teachers don't know, or what new teachers don't know. Secretaries absolutely know where your stuff is. They just decide whether or not you're emotionally prepared to receive it. At another school that I was at, I remember this teacher looking for his electric sharpener. It was like a day or two before school started, and this guy was stressing. He was pacing, he was sweating, he was spiraling. He was like, "I need to sharpen my pencils before school starts. Like, I need my pencil sharpener." And the secretary just kept saying, "Oh, no, I haven't seen it. Nope, no idea. Nope." The pencil sharpener was sitting right next to her desk the entire time. The entire time. The level of emotional restraint deserves hazard pay. And then there's the secretaries to answer the phone, sounding like literal angels. "Oh, sweetie. No, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Don't worry, honey. Don't worry. Oh, you're only going to be 5 minutes late. Don't even worry about it." So kind, so compassionate, so understanding. And then the second they hang up the phone, yeah, right. 5 minutes. Let's see how long she takes this time. All right, who's got $1? She's coming in with Starbucks again. I'm telling you right now, secretaries deserve Oscars. The acting range is unbelievable. And they never miss details. I was at this one school where there was a pest control problem that had gotten kind of out of control. And apparently the teachers were trying to deal with it, but they were ignoring the protocol, that Keenan training that we all get in the beginning of the year, until it became a full-on situation. And then they brought it to the secretary's attention. And instead of her jumping in to help right away, she looked at everybody like an exhausted mother of grown children and was like, "Oh, now you're coming to me? Now? After this whole time? Now it's my problem?" And honestly, she had a point. Because here's another thing about secretaries. They see a train wreck coming from a mile away. They know exactly when people ignore a problem for too long. And underneath all the jokes, here's another side of this too. Because secretaries become family. Recently, I had lunch with a former secretary I used to work with. And we started talking about when she was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago. And we were reminiscing about how the whole staff came together for her. We were bringing her meals. We were checking her constantly. A few of us helped with a couple errands and family duties. And it hit me that we cared about her and we loved her. And when you have a good secretary, they become part of your life. They help you through the good days. They help you through the bad days. They help you calm down during stressful situations, and they help you celebrate your wins. and they quietly hold the school together. And I saw the same kind of love a few years ago, actually more than a few years ago now, about 10 years ago, when I had to attend the funeral of a secretary. When I got there, I couldn't believe how many people had showed up. Sorry, let me say that again. I couldn't believe how many people had shown up. Teachers, students, parents, retired staff members, administrators. I mean, the place was just packed. I've unfortunately been to a few funerals throughout the span of my career, and that's one of the biggest funerals I've ever seen. For anybody, not just in education, just period. One of the biggest, most highest in attendance funerals that I've ever been a part of. And I realized this woman had impacted thousands of people, not through any awards, not through any titles, just through her everyday kindness and by the way she carried herself and the way she ran her business. She helped out stressed parents, she found missing kids, she calmed down overwhelmed teachers, and she just kept everything afloat. The school could survive a day without a principal. A school can survive a day without a teacher. And, there might be a kid who celebrates that. But a school without a secretary? Yeah, absolutely not. Anytime any secretary I've ever worked with has had to be out for any extended period of time, it feels like the building's going to collapse by lunchtime. And I have to tell you one more detail from that funeral that permanently changed me forever. Next to the coffin was this giant framed picture. And you know what photo they used? Her staff photo. And somehow it was good. It wasn't one of those cursed employee badges that looked like you were arrested behind a Sears in 2004. She looked beautiful and warm and happy. And ever since then, I've put a little bit more effort into my school pictures every single year because apparently you never know when your crusty employee badge photo is going to become your memorial portrait. Now on picture day, I'm in there posing like it's senior year, turning my chin, fixing my hair, trying to give beloved educator vibe instead of woman surviving entirely on caffeine and 5 hours of sleep. That secretary would laugh if she knew she had taught me one final lesson without even trying. And I think that's what makes a great secretary unforgettable. They teach us things without even realizing we're learning. They teach us how to stay calm, how to manage chaos, how to read people, and how relationships matter more than titles. So, if you're a new teacher listening today, here's your homework assignment. Introduce yourself to your secretary. Learn their name, be kind, say thank you, and every once in a while, show up with a goodie. Trust me, the people holding the keys to the car are the people you want on your side. Now, I want to hear from you. Who was the unforgettable secretary at your school? Did you have one who knew everybody's business or one who ruled the office with an iron fist and a bedazzled stapler? Drop your stories in the comments section because I know you have some good ones. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share the Veteran Teacher Files with another educator who needs a laugh. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady, and remember, behind every functioning school is a secretary quietly deciding whether or not you deserve your supplies. Until next time.